People often talk about luck like it's some kind of magical force that determines who wins and who loses in life. They see someone succeed and say he got lucky. But that kind of thinking is lazy. It's an excuse. It's what people say when they don't want to face the truth, that success doesn't come to you by chance. It comes when you fight for it, when you put in the hours that no one else sees, when you push through pain, rejection, and defeat over and over again. Success is not something you stumble upon. It's not a lottery ticket. It's a war. And if you're not prepared to go to war for your dream, then you don't deserve it. Because every step forward, every inch of progress is a battle. You have to be ready to bleed for it. You have to be ready to stand alone with no one clapping for you, no one believing in you, sometimes not even your own family or closest friends, and you still move forward. That's how you earn success. When I first set out on my journey, I didn't have guarantees. I didn't have a blueprint. All I had was belief, a deep, burning belief that I was meant to do something greater, something beyond just surviving or fitting into the system. And belief alone isn't enough. Belief must be matched with action, day in, day out, whether you feel like it or not, whether it's raining, whether you're tired, whether the world feels like it's collapsing, you show up. Because showing up when it's hard is what separates the ones who win from the ones who wish they had. There were times I failed spectacularly, times when I thought maybe I had taken the wrong path, times when the pressure was so intense I couldn't sleep, couldn't eat, but still had to get up and lead. There were moments of silence, of complete isolation, when no one saw the storm I was fighting inside. But I never allowed myself to surrender to doubt. You see, the real war isn't out there. It's inside your own mind. That voice telling you to quit, to settle, to stay safe, that's the enemy. And if you don't defeat that voice, you'll never defeat anything outside of you. I wasn't born a warrior. I became one through struggle, through rejection, through years of people laughing, mocking, underestimating. And every time someone told me I couldn't do it, I dug in deeper. That's the fire you need. Not just ambition, not just dreams. You need the kind of fire that keeps burning even when there's nothing left around you but ashes. That's what makes you unstoppable. People think success is glamorous. What they don't see are the long nights, the broken bones, sometimes literally, the personal sacrifices, the relationships lost, the constant fear of failure, and the crushing weight of responsibility. They don't see you waking up at 4 a.m. to keep going while everyone else is still asleep. They don't see you training your mind to shut out the noise, the critics, the doubts. That's the price. And that price is what makes it worth it. Because once you've been through the fire, you don't just win, you own your success. It becomes part of you. It becomes something no one can take away. So don't wait for luck. Don't hope for a miracle. You are the miracle. You are the one who decides how far you'll go, how much you'll fight, how long you'll last. You've got to choose every single day to show up for your dream like it's a battlefield. Because that's exactly what it is. And only warriors win wars. Failure is not the end. It's the beginning of something deeper. If you let it be, most people run from failure. They treat it like a disease, like something to avoid at all costs. But I learned early on, if you want to succeed in anything meaningful, failure isn't just part of the process. It is the process. When you fall flat, when you lose, when you give everything and still come up short, that's when you discover who you really are. That's when the real fight begins. And in that moment, you have two choices. You can let failure break you, or you can use it to sharpen yourself, to build your strength from the pain. Because every failure, every defeat is information. It's showing you what needs to be fixed, what needs to be improved, and where your next step should be. You just have to be willing to listen. There were times I was knocked down so hard that even standing back up felt impossible. But that's when I understood that resilience isn't about pretending you're not hurt. It's about choosing to rise even when it hurts. Every time you get back up, you send a message, not just to the world, but to yourself. I will not be broken. And that mindset changes everything. Because the ones who make it, the ones who leave their mark, they're not the ones who never fail. They're the ones who fail 100 times and keep showing up for the 101st. You can't become strong without struggle. You can't build courage without fear. And you can't find your purpose until you've been tested by failure. So the next time life hits you hard, don't curse it, don't run from it, look it in the eye and say, I needed this. Because that's the moment you stop being afraid of losing and start learning how to win. Discipline isn't something you're born with, it's something you train. Day by day, moment by moment. People look at success and they see talent or charisma or connections. But none of that means anything without discipline. Talent without discipline is wasted potential. Passion without discipline burns out. Discipline is the engine that keeps you moving when motivation disappears, and it will disappear. There were days I didn't feel like doing the work. Days when everything in me said, take it easy, rest, you've done enough. And that's when the voice of discipline had to be louder. You see, it's easy to be committed when things are going well, when the energy is high, when people are cheering for you. But what about when no one's watching? What about when you're exhausted, when the results aren't coming, when you're standing alone? That's when discipline steps in and reminds you who you are and why you started. Discipline is a promise you make to yourself and then keep no matter what. It's not glamorous, it's not exciting, it's often repetitive, uncomfortable, and boring, but it's also what builds champions. It's what separates people who talk about dreams from people who live them. You don't rise to the level of your goals, you fall to the level of your habits, and your habits are shaped by discipline. In my own journey, every meaningful achievement came from years of doing the hard things over and over again. Waking up early when I didn't want to, saying no to distractions that looked tempting in the moment but led nowhere. Training, practicing, preparing again and again, while others were relaxing or giving in to short-term comfort. That's what builds real strength, real confidence. Not the big moments, but the quiet ones, when you choose to stay the course. People think success is about talent or luck, but the truth is, it's about sacrifice. Sacrificing what's easy for what's right. Sacrificing temporary pleasure for long-term vision. And that kind of discipline is painful, yes, but it's also powerful. Because once you master yourself, nothing can master you. You want to win? Then show me your discipline. Because that's where the battle is won long before the world sees the victory. One of the hardest lessons to learn on the path to success is this. If you want to lead, if you want to build something meaningful, if you want to live with purpose, you have to stop trying to please everyone. You have to let go of the need to be liked, to be accepted, to fit in. Because the truth is, the moment you decide to follow a path that challenges the status quo, the crowd will turn on you. People will question your intentions, mock your dreams, doubt your every move. And if you're not ready for that, then you're not ready to lead. You can't chase purpose and popularity at the same time. You have to choose. If your goal is to be loved by everyone, then don't expect to stand for anything real. Because when you stand for something, really stand for it, you will offend people. You will make them uncomfortable. You will be misunderstood. And you must be okay with that. There were moments when I had to stand alone, completely alone, because I refused to compromise on what I believed in. The criticism was constant. People said I was delusional, arrogant, out of touch. But if I had followed the crowd, I would have ended up exactly where they were, nowhere. I would have been another name forgotten in a sea of comfort and compromise. That's the cost of living with purpose. It demands isolation, it demands strength of character, it demands that you hold your ground even when every voice around you tells you to sit down. You see, the world doesn't need more people trying to be liked. It needs people who are willing to stand up for what's right, no matter how unpopular that may be. And that strength doesn't come from ego. It comes from clarity, from knowing why you're doing what you're doing, from having a mission so strong that no insult, no rejection, no defeat can shake it. That's where real power comes from. Not from applause, but from conviction. If your dream is big, expect to be alone for a while. Expect resistance. Expect to be mocked, dismissed, even hated. But never let that change your direction. Because the ones who change the world are never the ones who played it safe. They're the ones who walked alone, were laughed at, and still kept moving forward. So don't be afraid of being the outsider. Don't water down your vision to make it easier for others to digest. You weren't made to fit in, you were made to lead. But there are moments in life when nothing seems to make sense, when every door shuts, when every plan fails, when the people you trusted walk away, and you're left standing in the middle of chaos, wondering why you're even trying. It's in those moments, those dark, silent, lonely moments, that your strength is truly tested. And if all you're depending on is your own power, your own logic, or the approval of others, you'll break. You won't just fall, you'll stay down. What carried me through the worst storms of my life wasn't strategy or experience or support from others. It was faith. Real, unwavering faith. The kind that tells you, even if I can't see the path right now, I know it's there. Even if I don't understand the struggle, I trust that it has meaning. When everything around me was shaking, that faith became my anchor. Because you can have ambition, you can have discipline, you can have resilience, but without something deeper holding you steady, you'll eventually crack under the weight of it all. Faith gives you perspective. It reminds you that the pain you're feeling isn't permanent. It gives purpose to the suffering. It helps you rise when you have no strength left. And it keeps you grounded when everything seems out of control. With faith, failure doesn't destroy you. It refines you. Delay doesn't discourage you. It prepares you. Criticism doesn't silence you. It humbles you. Because when you believe that there's a higher plan at work, you stop being afraid of the process. You stop trying to rush it or control it. You show up, you give everything, and then you trust. That trust doesn't mean you stop fighting. It means you fight with peace in your heart, knowing that every battle is shaping you for something bigger than you can see right now. It means you no longer measure your success by how easy things are, but by how deeply you're willing to keep going even when they're hard. Faith isn't weakness, it's power. The kind of power that turns fear into fuel and pain into purpose. And once you have that kind of faith inside you, there is nothing this world can throw at you that you can't overcome. Success doesn't respond to wishes. It doesn't care about how badly you want something or how many times you daydream about achieving it. It only responds to those who are willing to go to war for it. And I say war because that's exactly what the path to success is. A series of battles. It's not a smooth journey. It's a fight every step of the way. You don't win by playing it safe. You don't win by waiting for the perfect moment or by hoping someone else clears the path for you. If you want to rise, you have to fight for it. Ruthlessly, consistently, and with everything you have. No one hands you success. You take it. You earn it. With sweat, with sacrifice, and with an iron will that refuses to back down. There's a cost to that kind of fight. You'll be misunderstood, you'll be betrayed, you'll be exhausted, broken, and at times completely alone. There were nights I lay awake, wondering if it was all worth it. Nights when I questioned every decision, every sacrifice. But that's the nature of war. It breaks the weak and reveals the strong. And the only way to become the kind of person who can carry the weight of real success is by surviving those trials. The world doesn't reward comfort. It rewards courage. The courage to keep going when there's no applause, no support, and no visible progress. The courage to take risks that might cost you everything. The courage to stand firm in the face of relentless pressure and still say, I will not give up. Too many people quit before the victory because they expect the journey to feel good. But if success were easy, everyone would have it. What separates winners from the rest isn't just talent or intelligence. It's the decision to fight one more day, take one more hit, climb one more step, even when nothing around you says it's worth it. You have to become a warrior, not just in what you do, but in how you think. A warrior doesn't need comfort. A warrior needs purpose. A warrior doesn't need praise. A warrior needs vision. When you carry that kind of mindset, the world can't stop you because you're no longer hoping for success. You're marching toward it like it's yours to claim. So prepare yourself, because if you truly want to rise, you're not entering a game, you're entering a war. So when you walk away from this moment, remember this: success isn't luck, and it's never handed to you. It's earned through struggle, through failure, through sacrifice, and through a level of discipline and belief most people will never understand. You will be tested, you will be doubted, you will be pushed to your breaking point. But if you have the fire to fight, the faith to endure, and the strength to keep rising, no matter how many times you fall, then nothing can stop you. The war is real, but so is the victory if you're willing to go through the fire to claim it.